Now let's look at an example evaluating a composite function. Suppose f of x equals 2x squared minus 3 and g of x equals 4x, and we're trying to find the following a, b, c, d. Okay, we're going to do one by one. First one, we're trying to find a composed with g when x equals 1. Okay, so f composed with g when x equals 1. This is equivalent as f of x is the outer function, g of x is equals inner function, and then x, independent variable x, is 1. All right. So we have to evaluate inner function first. Okay. When evaluating composite function, we always start from the inner function. So g of 1, we want to find out what's that value. So g of x is 4 times x, right? And then x equals 1. So 4 times 1 equals 4, right? And now substitute inner function g of 1 equals 4, right? We already know g of 1 equals 4. That's why we substitute 4. So that's being said, the inner function g of 1's output, right? Output 4 will serve as the input for the outer function. Okay, inner function's output serve as outer function's input. All right, so we evaluate f of 4, and then what's f of 4? F of x is 2x squared minus 3, right? I leave x blank, and then what x value is 4, right? Replace x by 4. So that equals 2 times 4 squared, that's 16, and then minus 3. 2 times 16, that's 32. 32 minus 3, so we got answer for A is 29. All right, and similarly, we can do the B, C, D. B, we're trying to evaluate G composed with F when x equals 1. Okay, so this time, G of x is the outer function, and then f of x is the inner function when x equals 1. All right, so again, f of x is inner function. So we need to evaluate f of 1 first. Okay, f of 1, that's 2x squared minus 3, right? Replace x by 1. So that's 2 times 1 minus 3, which is 2 minus 3, that equals 91, right? And then substitute f of 1 by 91. Okay, so this going here. So that's 4 times x, right? Replace x by 91. So that equals 94. Answer for B is 94. Okay? And then C, f composed with f when x equals -2. So this time outer function f of x, inner function is also f of x when x equals -2. Okay, that's what we're trying to evaluate. And then we need to evaluate inner function first. So f of -2, we evaluate first. Okay, this is inner function. We evaluate f of -2. That's 2x squared minus 3, right? Replace x by -2. So that's 2 times positive 4, right? -2 squared positive 4 minus 3. So that's a minus 3. We get a 5. All right, so replace inner function f of -2 equals 5. So we're evaluating outer function, which is f of 5. And then f of 5 equals what? 2x squared minus 3, right? Replace x by 5. So that's 2 times 5 squared, 25, and then minus 3. So that's 50 minus 3. So we get 47. All right. And then similarly, we do the D. I don't have space, so I write on the top. Okay. D, we're trying to evaluate G composed with G when x equals 91. So that's equivalent outer function G of x inner function is also g of x when x equals 91. Okay, so same thing, we evaluate inner function first. G of 91 equals 4 times x, right? Replace x by 91. So we got a 94. And then substitute 94. Okay, substitute inner function by 94. The g of 94. That's equals what? That's 4 times x, right? Replace x by 94. So we got a negative 16. So that's how we evaluate the composite function. Okay, always, okay, the rule is always evaluate inner function first. Okay, and then when we get a result of inner function, and then substitute that into the, as the input for the outer function, and then evaluate outer function. So that's the solution. Okay, we got the same value, right? A, B, C, D. And we can also use graphic calculator to evaluate the composite function, which is the same way as we evaluate single function. Okay, so my iPad, again, don't have the simulator. I will just explain to you the process. Okay, first step, you need to use y equals key, okay, to define function. So still for the previous example, so we define like a y1 equals, this is a calculator already showing you, okay, y1, y2, y3, okay. So we need to put f of x in the y1, okay, if you can remember that. We put a 2x squared minus 3 for the y1, which is in our problem is f of x, and then y2 is 4x, okay. And then call the quit function, which is second mode, okay, to close this window. And then we call the function, which is use vars, right? And then use the arrow key, move to the y vars, and then choose the option 1, which is evaluate functions. Okay, and then it will listing all the function name, and then we choose first one, right? y1. We try to evaluate f composed with g, okay, which is a when x equals 1. Okay, so since we use y1 to define f of x, that's why we want to call y1. All right, and then when you choose the y1, and then you will see on the screen the function name y1 should be on your screen, the calculator screen. Okay, and then you need to enter the parentheses. Okay, and then we want to call the function y2, inner function. Okay, call outer function first, and then parentheses, and then inner function, repeat the same process. Okay, vars, and then use the arrow key, move to the y vars, and then still we want to evaluate function, right, which is option 1. This time we choose function y2, okay, because inner function is the y2. And then press parentheses, and then given the x value, which is 1, close inner parentheses, close outer parentheses, and then press enter, and then you will get the result, 29. Okay, give it a try. It's the same way as we call regular function, okay, evaluate function. We learned that before. So now just, call the nested function, okay, and then on the calculator monitor, you should appear exactly this on the screen. Call the function y1 first, and then parentheses, and then call the function y2, and then pass the value of parameter, close inner parentheses, close outer parentheses. Okay, and then if you want to evaluate b, and then you need to call y2, you need to call y2 first, and then parentheses y1, and then parentheses, is that also 1? let me see. Yeah, it's also 1. Pass the parameter value, which is 1, and then close inner parenthesis, close outer parenthesis. Okay, that's the B part. That's what you need to do on the calculator. C is F, and then -2, right? For the C, you need to put in the calculator is y1 parenthesis, y1 parenthesis, -2, close inner parenthesis, close outer parenthesis. Okay, and then for the D is G of G. For the D, we need to call y2 and then parenthesis, y2 parenthesis, -1, close inner parenthesis, close outer parenthesis. All right, give it a try.